Welcome back, True Seeker. Again, I did just put out two short videos on this on my news channel, GematriaEffectNews 25, but I want to live stream about it too, so we can bring as much attention as possible to this as quickly as possible. Because quite frankly, I am so sick of watching this happen and it's seemingly going unnoticed by the world. The ritual sacrifices in professional sports. They're just so blatant. And again, you learn the Kabbalistic code of letters and numbers, it becomes very obvious what is going on. So tonight, Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, the opening night of the 79th NBA season, 3 days before the start of the World Series, it's announced at the Lakers game in Los Angeles, or announced during the game, late in the game, when it looks like the Lakers have the game in hand, as we imagine they would win tonight because they had all the numbers to do so. It's announced that one of the great baseball stars of LA, Fernando Valenzuela, Cy Young winner, World Series champion, has died at 63 from unknown causes. And really, 63, a relatively young age. Well below the average life expectancy, former athlete. And again, if you've been following my work, you know what 63 has to do with Major League Baseball. We talked about the death of the Padres owner at 63, the day of the owners' meeting late last year, dead in Arlington right after the Rangers won the World Series by the numbers. But again, gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. As you can see, Fernando Valenzuela equates to 79, like Cy Young, also like LeBron Raymond James, who stayed on 79 home losses with the Lakers tonight, winning the opener with baseball stars in attendance, the Griffeys, junior and senior, as LeBron and Bronny become the fourth father and son duo in sports history. LeBron also got his 205th win with the Lakers tonight. And in case you're new here, there are 4 base ciphers of the English language. We're going to cover how all 4 of those work in regards to this man's death when we look at the World Series, which begins in 3 days on Juan Soto's birthday, one day after the anniversary of Jackie Robinson's death, again, who'd be 105 years old if he were alive this year. Of course, the Dodgers just won 10-5, picking up their 105th win of the season. But again, the 4 base ciphers of the English language, the alphabetic order, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology applied. But yes, this happens as the 79th season gets underway. You might have heard the Celtics set a 3-point record in the first game, or they finished tied with the all-time record for what threes are in a game. They couldn't hit a single one, I think, in the fourth quarter, but if you write out 3 as a word, THREE, it also equals 79, just for the record, because that's the way these leagues work. It's all ritualism. And if you'd say, well, why would they do this? Why would they sync up words and numbers? Again, you have to know who's in charge of these leagues. All of these sports are credited to Freemasonry. Again, the NBA is credited to Naismith. American baseball is credited to Abner Doubleday. American football is credited to Walter Camp. They're all Masons. Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, and a component of Kabbalah is gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. Again, if you look up the Book of Formation, it says God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. It's similar to Genesis, where God speaks the world into existence. And you might know King James, the real one, has a Bible named after him. And you might know that LeBron won his only championship on the real King James's birthday, which is about one of a gazillion sports rituals paying tribute to history. This will update later. LeBron became 129 and 79 by winning at home tonight with the Lakers. This was the screenshot before the game. 129 is no slouch of a number. It's 201 in base 8 counting. And if you're new here, 201 is the number of the controllers, which is the Jesuits who gave us the language and the calendars and who created modern Freemasonry. But with regards to a baseball player dying during the game, Again, you got the Griffeys, who played together in Seattle and who won the 1979 NBA Finals. Well, the Seattle Supersonics did, who are now the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if you watch the basketball game tonight, Charles Barkley told everybody to write it down. Now, Barkley's usually wrong about his predictions, but Barkley said tonight, write it down. The Thunder will win the West this year, meaning they'll represent the finals for the West. He didn't say they'd win the finals, but he said they will win the West. Now, Barkley's predictions are almost always wrong, but it is interesting that he would say that out because, of course, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the old Sonics team. Remember, the Sonics, right after they drafted Kevin Durant #1, they got shipped down to Oklahoma City, not far from Texas, where he played his college basketball. You might recall the Blazers got the #1 pick and drafted Greg Oden, who's had a leg that was 1 inch longer than the other and already a history of injuries and was out of the NBA before you could blink an eye. It was like a repeat of Sam Bowie being drafted over Jordan by the Blazers. And it was such it's just obvious mockery. The Pacific Northwest, which is a small market, gets the #1 and #2 pick and then has none of those picks in the region in record time. Mike Conley's still in the league, though. That was Greg Oden's teammate at Ohio State. Anyway, actually, you know what's standing out to me? Those 1979 finals started on Cannonball Day, very special to the Jesuits, a.k.a. the Society of Jesus, which equals 79. Remember when Billy Cannon dropped dead on Cannonball Day for Joe Burrow, who went on to emulate what Joe Burrow did at LSU? And then when Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl, he played 4 teams in the playoffs. They were the same 4 teams that Billy Cannon was connected to in the NFL: the Rams, the Raiders, the Titans, who were the Oilers in Billy Cannon's time, and the Chiefs. Anyhow, if you look at Fernando Valenzuela's wiki, we're going to get to the 17 Major League Baseball seasons he played. But there's this thing down here at the bottom, how he wasn't a hard thrower, but the Dodgers, when they were, bringing him up through the minor league ranks, he learned the screwball, which defined his career in 79. Isn't that interesting? He learned to throw the old screwball in 79, only to eventually be announced dead the day the 79th NBA season opens. And notice, the 17 seasons and dead the day that the NBA season opens, the 17 league. Remember, you guys, I told you the day that LeBron went from the 17th state, Ohio, to the Lakers on the first day of the 7th month, I told you that day LeBron would win the 17th championship for the Lakers in his 17th season. And don't forget how dirty they did Kobe for that year. Kobe dead at 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass, dead on the Pope's 41st day of his age. LA equals 41 like Kobe Bryant. LeBron goes on to win the finals on Father-Daughter Day, exactly 41 weeks after his own birthday. And in light of Kobe's death being synced with the Pope, the first Jesuit Pope, remember, the Pope was 83 at the time. Helicopter crash equals 83. But Valenzuela was 63 years old. Again, Major League Baseball equals 63. Before the season got underway, the Padres owner died at 63. Padres also equals 63. And this whole season's been synced with Steve Garvey. It's why we said in spring training the Dodgers would likely be in the World Series. Again, since I've been here, now 11 years, every year that I've been calling World Series futures, all but 2 years, I've been able to get at least one of the 2 teams right in spring training that would be in the World Series. And years where we didn't get in spring training, we didn't get it long after. And again, it's because it's all rigged and scripted. And the whole time I've been here, I've been explaining how the games are rigged and scripted, and there's always obvious ritual sacrifices by this numerical code. Again, look up the song Murder by Numbers by the Police that came out in 83. The word murder equates to 79 when you run it forwards. We're talking about 79 this one. It equates to 83 when you run it in reverse. And don't forget what they did this year with Pete Rose. I'm going to pull up the original screenshot when the news broke about Pete Rose's death. And don't forget, when the Ohtani news broke, I predicted that the Ohtani gambling news, I predicted that Pete Rose would die this year at 83 because we know how fateful this number is as well. But when he died, the first image ESPN put out was Steve Garvey standing behind him. And Pete Rose died 83 days before Steve Garvey's birthday. The song Murder by Numbers from 83 is about how murder is the sport of the elected, and it's as simple as ABC is 1, 2, 3. And again, election equals 83, murder equals 83. Steve Garvey's running for senator in California to replace Dianne Feinstein. Pete Rose died the last day of the MLB regular season, where the last games were in Atlanta. That's where his 44-game hit streak ended. Keep in mind the day he died had 83 date numerology. Shohei Ohtani, the death came 87 days after his birthday. Peter Edward Rose Sr., 87. It was 193 days after the gambling story broke. Shohei Ohtani, 193. Again, that's the 44th prime number. Pete Rose's 44-game hit streak ended in Atlanta. One more time. Keep in mind, Georgia equals 44, and it's the fourth state, and 4 is the number associated with death, going with how LeBron James and his son are the fourth father-son duo in sports history. As you get this, all these stories coming together today, Pete Rose was in the 83 World Series. But yeah, just to remind that this stuff's going on all the time, and all these things are connected. So, and that news came as Dikembe Mutombo died at 58. Dikembe Mutombo equals 58, dead right before the Denver Nuggets' 58th season. His wife, Rose Mutombo, Pete Rose, and Dikembe Mutombo at the same time. All right, coming back to Fernando Valenzuela. Notice the 1981 World Series, where his Dodgers beat the Yankees 4-2. It began on Kamala Harris's 17th birthday. And this year on Kamala's birthday, the Dodgers knocked off the New York Mets 4-2. And again, Jackie 42. Again, Jackie Robinson be 105 years old. Dodgers got the 105th win of the year, winning 10-5. In the time of the 105th NFL season, alongside Sunday Night Football, which was the 105th game of the year. And if you watch that game, you can go back and watch it on NFL Rewind. They interview Russell Wilson right after the game, who's a former drafted into Major League Baseball. And instead of talking about the football game, he started talking about the baseball season at first. That's not an accident. These guys are all on script. Remember, Russell Wilson won the 94th NFL season for Seattle, Washington, which equals 94, over Denver, which equals 94, and then his grandfather died at 94. And that was also the 38th season for the Seahawks, and Colorado's the 38th state. And football, Colorado equals 38, and he eventually got traded to the Broncos on March 8th, 3-8, and then he started the year 3-8 versus the Panthers, which equals 38, just like how the Patriots beat the Panthers in Super Bowl 38, and the Broncos beat the Panthers on the 38th day of the year and the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl, when Peyton Manning rode off into the sunset, his number 18 years after his NFL career started. Anyhow, coming back to Fernando, the 81 World Series was 43 years ago. RIP equals 43. New York Yankees equals 191, which is the 43rd prime number. 43 is the 14th prime number. LA equals 14. Dead equals 14. Again, it matters that Kamala turned 17. All these things are connected. Rigged sports, rigged politics, all connected together. The man who played 17 seasons and who's now dead as the Lakers opened the season stuck on 17 championships. Remember how Jerry West died right before the Celtics broke the tie, winning their 18th championship. Jerry West died days before it happened. He was 1-8 in championships, a bit like 18. He died the day after the Celtics got their 78th win in the 78th NBA season, which began those finals. The finals began on June 6th, the 78th birthday of the Celtics. Don't forget Bobby Kennedy, a Boston guy, died on their 22nd birthday. But we said at the beginning of last season that the Celtics look like the team to win the championship because they're the only team in the whole league whose full name equals 78. And keep in mind, tonight the Celtics won the first quarter plus 19. They were up 43-24 at the first quarter by a 19-point margin, and then the fourth quarter they only scored 19. Their next championship's 19. The next time they're in the finals, they'll have a chance to become 19-5 in finals. And Boston Celtics equals 195. So does Robert Kennedy. Sure, the finals begin on the anniversary of Robert Kennedy being shot in 68 by Sirhan Sirhan. Robert Kennedy also equals 66, like Saran, and he died on 6/6. Again, this numerical code, murder by numbers, the sport of the elected. Another song out there, Gematria, the killing name. The world of entertainment dropping clues all the time. So I want you to think about this. Fernando Valenzuela's birthday is November 1st, okay? His birthday is November 1st. He died just shy of his 64th birthday. He was almost there. 10 days. 10 days shy. And this is going to be the 12th time the Yankees and Dodgers meet in the World Series. Do you see how the 1981 World Series that he was in was the 78th edition of the World Series? It's kind of like how the 78 World Series was Dodgers and Yankees, and that was the 75th edition. And this whole season's been synced with Steve Garvey, who's 75 years old right now. But 78 is the 12th triangular number. And it's just like how in the 78th NBA season, the Celtics outscored the Mavericks by 12 points over the whole series, winning it. 106 is also the 78th composite number, and the Celtics averaged 106 points a game for the series. How scripted it all is. But anyhow, 78 is the 12th triangular number. Now it's going to be the 12th World Series between the Yankees and the Dodgers. And Game 6, if history repeats itself and this series goes 4-2, just like the 81 World Series did, it would end on his birthday, November 1st. And let's just say that it's in the Dodgers' favor. Let's say the Dodgers win the World Series 4-2 again. The Dodgers would become 6-3 versus the Yankees for the year, like how he's dead at 63. And notice, the Dodgers are 29-37 versus the Yankees in the World Series, all the games they've played. If they won 4, if the Dodgers won 4 and lost 2, they'd become 33-39. So look at the 4 base ciphers of the English language, alphabetic order. New York 111. Remember when the Mets lost the 111th World Series to the Royals in the time of the Queen, who was born on the 111th day of the year? Matt Harvey got pulled after his 111th pitch after Eric Hosmer knocked in the first run against him, stepped into the plate with a 111 batting average in the World Series. Remember how in spring training we told you the New York Mets would be there with 60-1 odds to win the NL? We've been doing it for a long time. Do you remember when the only game the Mets won, they won it 9-3, and I predicted before that game they'd win it 9-3, and I still remember how. It's because all day the media was focused on the 86 World Series that the Mets won, and the guy who came down in the parachute. All the news networks were covering that day, and I was showing people. I was saying, isn't it interesting how parachute equals 93-39 and New York's 39? I said, I think there's a good chance that the Mets are going to win today, and the score is going to be 9-3. You know, it's why it's a shame that YouTube's deleted my channel 20 sometimes, because everybody who was here at the time knows that's exactly how that happened. And again, the only game the Mets won in the 111th World Series, that was the score after the whole day of the parachute coverage. But again, New York, 111, 39, 78, 33. How all those numbers factor in here could potentially factor in if history repeats itself. And again, winning 4-2 could be another tribute to Jackie. And you see how, again, the Dodgers has clinched on Kamala's birthday and that World Series that he was in back in 81 started on Kamala's 17th birthday. Look at the overlap with Kamala and Jackie. Again, 39, 123, 42. And so many rituals with all these numbers. Kamala's mom died on the 42nd day of the year right after Obama took office. She was like literally sucking Willie Brown's willy when he was 60 and she was in her 20s to climb the political ladder, and now she just turned 60 right before the 60th election. But when Biden passed the torch to her on July 21st, it was 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday. Then Chuck Schumer endorsed her a few days later, 123 days after his own birthday. You know, week 1 of this NFL season, I told you why it mattered that Tim Wall's team, the Vikings, and Kamala's team, the Niners, beat both New York teams. And told you before Monday Night Football, gave it out for free. I mean, we smoked the NFL that week. We smoked it almost every week this year, except for week 3 was the only week we didn't smoke the NFL. Week 3 was weird. But I gave it for free to everybody. The Monday Night Football game, week 1, I said why home teams become 11-5 for the week, like the election's on 11-5. And I said, look for the 49ers to win by 12. They ended up winning by 13 to become plus 123 all time in point differential against the Jets. And they got their 12th win against the Jets. Again, scripted sports, scripted politics, all controlled by the same cabal, undeniably. Like literally undeniably. You can deny it, but you don't have any evidence to deny it. I got just stacks and stacks of evidence to prove my point. I mean, I've been calling this stuff out and predicting it way before it does happen for a long time. Also, one of his most remembered games was in 1990, his no-hitter, the man who's dead tonight, Fernando, 34 years ago. And he wore number 34. And again, just look at the gematria murder. 79, 34. And you know what else? The Dodgers right now are 3-8 versus the Yankees. For all you Yankee fans who want to hear a narrative for your team, your narrative would be the Dodgers falling to 3-9 versus the Yankees. My dad's a big Yankee fan. That's what he wants to see happen. But yeah, it's just nothing but scripture, guys. I mean, we knew the Lakers were lock city to win tonight because LeBron stayed on 79 home losses. But look at the score of the game. I mean, look at the score of the game, guys. 213 points in the 2-1-3 area code. Again, nobody blinks an eye when the Rams win the Super Bowl on 2-1-3. No home team had ever played in their own building until Brady went down to Tampa and all the Tampa teams went to sports championships and Brady wins the Super Bowl. We had that one dead on before the season began, why the Bucks would beat the Chiefs. It was all synced up with baseball, too. It was crazy. And then Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. equals 116. Rays losing the 116th World Series to the Dodgers, who break the 32-year drought when there's 32 Rays on the Jesuit Orders logo. Tampa wins the Stanley Cup as a hurricane passes over the stadium the same day. But yeah, after Brady did that, then the very next year, Super Bowl 56, LA wins in their stadium on 2-1-3. I mean, Celtics win by 23 after just winning their 23rd NBA championship, or not winning their 23rd, excuse me. They played in their 23rd last year. They became 18-5, like basketball's 185. And again, you just got to say, what are the odds that they win by 19? Or in the first quarter, they're plus 19, and then the fourth quarter, they drop 19. And again, I mean, if they're in another championship, you got to think they got a good chance to win it. Boston Celtics 195, Robert Kennedy 195, who again died on the Celtics' 22nd birthday. Again, Boston 22. Remember in 2022, they went to their 22nd NBA championship. They fell to 17-5 versus Golden State, and it was all synced with Pope Francis. You guys know the Niners game this weekend that Shanahan came in with 54 regular season losses and 58 all-time losses, including the postseason. Like he lost Super Bowls 54 and 58 to the Chiefs. And then he picked up his 59th loss 58 days before the Pope's birthday in the year of Super Bowl 59. And Mahomes became 95-25 for his career, like how he won with 25 points in the last Super Bowl on the Vatican's 95th birthday. And this year he started out by beating Baltimore to improve the Chiefs to 9-5 versus Baltimore. Last year, he got his 41st all-time road win, beating Baltimore to advance to the Super Bowl and made Baltimore 5-8 versus the Chiefs en route to Super Bowl 58. And by the way, that game that just happened between the Niners and the Chiefs, the two Joe Montana teams, it was 131 days after Joe Montana's birthday, 112 days before Super Bowl 59. That was also 4 months and 9 days after Montana's birthday. And I just said Mahomes got his 41st all-time road win, winning the AFC Championship last year, which is true. He also got to 41 postseason passing touchdowns, winning the Super Bowl when McCole Hardman caught his 19th career touchdown as the game went to OT 19-19 for the first team to win back-to-back in 19 years. Now Boston with the 19 thing. But Mahomes this week against the Niners got his 41st road regular season win, not counting the postseason. And again, we saw it coming a mile away as we smoked the NFL again, as we got damn near every game right. Last night on the doubleheader with the Harbaugh. I mean, last night was so easy with the Harbaugh boys. It was the 47th day of the season, and you got both Harbaugh brothers coaching on the 47th day of this season when the Super Bowl's in New Orleans. And Super Bowl 47 was the Harbaugh Bowl in New Orleans. Remember, Jacoby Jones was in that, big star. This year, the Super Bowl's in his hometown, New Orleans, but he's not going to see it because he's dead. He died at 40, like the Super Bowl's on the 40th day of the year. But Todd Bowles, the Bucs coach, stayed on 47 regular season wins, and Jim Harbaugh stayed on 47 regular season wins. And this game was 111 days before the Super Bowl. And John Harbaugh, who also won Super Bowl 47, stayed on 111 total losses. Brothers won 11. John equals 47. Jim doesn't. So anyway, I mean, you take this knowledge, and again, it reveals to you what's actually going on. The rig, the script, the ritual, the sacrifice, undeniably. And what blows me away is, after doing this for 11 years, I know none of my critics have any real argument. When we miss a game here and there, we're wrong about something, that doesn't prove anything. Again, unprecedented resume for predictions, not just in sports, but in news, in politics, in weather, storms, earthquakes, et cetera, et cetera. And again, it's not because we're psychic, it's because we figured out what's actually going on in the world, from weather warfare to bombs that are blamed as Mother Nature when the ground quakes. And it wasn't me who first got that idea. It was listening to people like Jesse Ventura talk about how when he was a Navy SEAL, they used to plant big bombs down along fault lines. And he said, some of these earthquakes aren't Mother Nature. Those are the bombs we planted years ago. He wasn't lying. 1989 World Series earthquake. I mean, did you miss the work we just did on that? With the destruction of the Tropicana Hotel, the day that the Tropicana gets its top ripped off from Milton, on the day leaving 83 days left in the year, when the U.S. military's 20-some-year program experimenting with hurricanes with the military ended in 83. Milton equals 83. Tropicana Field 83. And look at it. Tropicana Athletics hurricane. They tore down the Tropicana Hotel to make way for the Athletics new stadium in Vegas the same day the hurricane takes the top off the Tropicana. And you see the overlap with hurricane and athletics and Tropicana. Again, there's way more to say about this. But here, I'll make a long story short. The 1989 World Series earthquake that happened between Athletics and Giants, where the last thing shown on the screen was Jose Canseco, who later went on to play for the Tampa Bay Rays. From the day that 89 World Series earthquake happened to the day that the Tropicana Field opened was 137 days later. Tampa Bay's 137 years old right now. Go look at the score of the game after the World Series resumed after the earthquake. They had it days later after they, did the cleanup from the destruction. The score was 13-7. 137 is the 33rd prime. Tropicana Field opened March 3rd, 1990, 137 days after the earthquake. And now this happens while Tampa, the city, is 137 years old. By the way, Tropicana, the brand, it was created in 1947. That's the same year the military did its first ever experiment with a hurricane. Look it up, Project Curious. And again, Kurt Vonnegut, the author, his brother Bernard Vonnegut was one of the scientists that was part of that program. And that's what this book, Cat's Cradle's about. Talking about how mad scientists are doing crazy things on this earth that could destroy the world. So anyway, if we're doing this work for 11 years, it's still like half the comments that come in, they read like this one right here. Just want to share this comment that came in from somebody tonight who was responding to the short video I did on this as the news broke. Jamaican the Mongoose said, LMFAO, FUCKU, for trying to take advantage of this with your dumb numerology BS. Seriously, go burn in hell. Like, if there is a hell and people do burn there, do you think it's going to be me or a guy like this leaving comments to someone who slaved away for 11 years trying to wake people up to how evil this world of entertainment is, trying to warn people about why they should not be going to these games and participating in the mass energy harvest that they are, which is what they do, just suck energy from the fans. Right now, the NFL, again, repetitively, home teams have a losing record to this point in the NFL season through the conclusion of week 7. Home teams at this moment are 53-54. That's not an accident. They love to punk the home crowd. They love to, I mean, just look at it. When crazy things happen in sports, they love to just pan through the crowd, show the devastated fans, the crying fans, the stressed out fans, the angry fans, the impossible calls that referees make to flip the outcomes of games. I mean, the whole thing's impossible. Like, it's just crazy that we live in such a backwards world where people are so invested in. I mean, I understand why it is the way it is. Again, culture has people invested in lies in such a big way. The indoctrination from the authorities, from slave school to the news to the government, it has people invested in these lies in such a major way. They're so about the sports. They're so much about one of the two political parties. For so many people, it's this way, and they can't admit that they've been had. Again, it's the Mark Twain quote. It's easier to fool somebody than convince them they've been fooled. Mark Twain also had the quote that if voting did anything, they wouldn't allow you to do it. And people need to wake up to both of those quotes. Again, these elections are a rigged sham as well, as scripted as the sports games are. And again, I just get tired of people. Then predict the next one again. What more do I need to predict? I mean, I spelled it out in spades why Joe Biden would become number 46 exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday in the last one. In February of 2016, I laid out why Trump, who was so polarizing, would be the guy in 2016 when everyone thought it was impossible, and he wasn't even the Republican nominee yet. And I've been laying out since forever why he was going to be the front runner in this election again, and people have been telling me for years I was wrong and he wouldn't be the guy. And again, I mean, and I also told you the day that Biden and Kamala took office that when this election came, it would be between Trump and Kamala, and Joe Biden would pass the torch to her when he was 81 and she was 59. Suppose he got 81 million votes in the 59th election. Then Kamala raises a record 81 million in 24 hours, they report to you. When President Biden equals 81 like ritual, and it's nothing but jokes, like when Obama endorsed 81 candidates on 8-1, not long before we got the Biden presidency. But yeah, it's just it's something else. And here we got a few people in the back room who want to
Here we
hop in.
go.
What's up, Truth in Gematria?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up, man?
Oh, what's going on? I've been on here before. I don't know. Some people might recognize me. But so I actually got somebody with me. And it's funny you went live because like 10, 20 minutes before you went live, we was talking and we kind of don't see eye to eye with like the whole, I guess, gematria, the world being a stage, all these celebrities being in on it, even like B, C list celebrities. And so she was talking and we got to talking about all these scientists, and she was saying that she brought up Neil deGrasse Tyson. So I don't know, I guess maybe before I don't know, maybe can you just give some reasons why maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't the most trustworthy source, and maybe why, I don't know, just maybe shed some information. This is going directly to her, but maybe to the audience too. But it's funny, man, because I was like, man, I hope Zach goes live tonight. And then sure enough, you went live. So yeah, I'll leave it up there for now.
Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson's a TV personality and seemingly the only scientist Americans are aware of when, I mean, there's tens of thousands of scientists in this country. But I want to just pull up this thing from Bill Maher from years ago where he was on there. I got right here.
Trying to sit down.
Okay. So just like right here, just little things. If you go back and watch this episode of Bill Maher and Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's wearing a tie with all the planets on it, and you can see just most prominent, it's made yellow on his tie is Saturn with the rings. But in the same thing, he brought up he was talking about how scientists are atheists. Of course, Bill Maher has the religious movie, but he made this claim in this episode that 93% of scientists are atheists, and he talked to Tyson about this, but he's also just pointing right at the Saturn thing. And again, Aleister Crowley, the occultist, who was also into this letters and numbers thing, he invented a religion, Thelema, that worships 93, which does have to do with Saturn, the keeper of time. Again, I'm just making the point that you can see that these people on TV, it's nothing but rituals. And it really does all go back to these Kabbalistic practices. That's why everywhere you look, it's the same type of stuff going on day after day. So I don't know how we went to Neil deGrasse Tyson, but
yeah, like, so what I got to say about that is, like, why would they even need to confirm or deny that 93% of scientists are atheists? Like,
right.
They're just putting that information out there to push their agenda, right?
Exactly. And again, I mean, the 93 numbers related to time. The thing that really dictates time on this earth is the sun, which they tell us in science is 93 million miles away. And then again, I mean, if you look it up, science says that they confirmed Jesus' crucifixion date is April 3rd, which is the 93rd day of the year. So the other sun has this 93 connection. And then this whole gematria thing, again, crucifix is 93 and God.
But most scientists don't believe in Christianity.
Is 93 and
right,
the 930th chapter of the Bible is where the Christian section begins. And just for the record, for people who are new here, there's something called Sumerian gematria, where you multiply the alphabetic order times 6. If you just write out Christianity, it equals 930, like how the 930th chapter is where Matthew 1:1 begins, which is the beginning of the New Testament. I have a question
about gematria.
Okay.
Why do you guys use that if, like, you guys are against Jews?
Huh?
Why do you guys use gematria if you guys are against the Jews? And gematria use for
who's against the Jews? Who's against the Jews?
People that follow you.
Well, am I against the Jews?
I don't know. I'm saying some people that I know that follow you do not like Jews, and they use gematria. So can you explain?
Just for the record, Israel was drawn up on September 3rd. Their Congress, Knesset's another big 93. Benjamin Netanyahu's 93. But no, I'm not against the Jews. What I'm against is tyranny and the cabal, and they manipulate, every religion.
I don't like the cabal either.
Yeah, the reason I use gematria is because I looked in. I was trying to figure out what it was about numbers. You think about the 93 World Trade Center bombing. They blamed the 93 World Trade Center bombing on the blind sheik, which also equals 93. If you look it up, that's what it's blamed on, the blind sheik. And again, I found out about this by looking into things. I wondered what it was about numbers and rituals. It took me over a decade to find the word gematria. I didn't know. I never heard of it. I just knew there was something about numbers and rituals from the day 9/11 happened. I was 18 then, and I said, come on, a national emergency on 911, all these 11s. I was looking at Bush for years as number 43 when it came down to his state where his brother was the governor and he was the 43rd governor and their daddy was the 43rd vice president. I was like, what's going on with all this number crap? And when I found gematria, I was like, oh, it all starts to make a lot more sense. The Bushes went to Yale, which equals 43. Florida equals 43. So is football. Next thing you know, Tom Brady, the beneficiary of 9/11 and the Patriot Act, being on the Patriots, he's going down to Florida at age 43 and winning Super Bowls. So
if you don't focus on, okay, so how much are you like focused on this? Is this like an everyday thing? Like you just obsess about it and you can't get through your day without thinking about the numbers? Or like, don't you think it's a little...
I can get through my day without thinking about the numbers if there's other things to do. But I would say to any adult, what's more important than stopping the evil tyranny that rules over us and has done things like 9/11 and makes us pay all this tax money that go to operations like this? I just see myself as somebody who's aware in a society of people who are tuned out and mostly just focused on entertainment and consumerism. I'm trying. When I was 18 and I saw 9/11 happen, I said, what happens if this thing ruling over us isn't exposed and stopped? How bad can it get? And so my focus is putting my energy into raising more awareness so that this thing can be stopped. I've been trying to get people to not participate in these sports leagues because they're manipulating people and they're ritually murdering people. I mean, what do you think an adult should be doing in 2024? What do you think the most important thing an adult should be doing is?
Whatever the fuck they want.
Do you think if evil's taking place and we're being lied to and manipulated, it's our job to stop it, or whose job is that?
It's not my business.
Whose business is it?
Yours. You're doing great. Good job. You could be on the front lines. I'm be on the sidelines.
You know what? I'm not mad at you for that, because I do think it's men's responsibility to fight this, and I do feel like women belong on the sidelines in these matters. So I'm not actually mad at what you're saying, but what I don't really appreciate is
the
like women
attitude.
on the
I'll say it
sidelines
for you.
are
It's the
not doing
attitude,
what
Zach.
I'm
I'll
trying
say
to
it for you. It's the attitude, Zach. I'll say it for you. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Zach, how do you feel about a flat Earth?
I've always said that I think that's a psychological operation and a distraction. It doesn't matter what the shape of the Earth is. It matters what's going on Earth.
Amen.
yeah. And Zach, some people in your community think it's a flat Earth. Some people in your community think it's a round Earth.
Yeah, you can't control what everybody thinks. I don't expect everybody to agree with me.
Yeah, it's just, that's not the point. The point is that we're being lied to. We're being deceived. Everybody on the world stage is not there because they have hard work and talent. It's because, they got that royal bloodline. They're part of the elites, and that's why they're there, and
Duh, that's
so,
a given. It's called nepotism.
How old is your friend? How old is your friend?
Older than him.
I don't know how old either of you are.
You want to say how old, or roughly mid, early?
I am 34 years old.
Okay, 34. Well, it's good to be young.
Born in Lebanon, from Sudan, experienced Ethiopia.
Okay.
So I'm not American, and I'm not indoctrinated into American shit, and I don't believe in America and its greatness.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's a big crock of shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, so that book you had earlier, Zach, you said it was like a mad scientist to destroy Earth, or what were you saying about that?
Kurt Vonnegut.
Yeah, go ahead.
His brother, Bernard Vonnegut, is who figured out how to do cloud seeding through silver iodide. So he's a big part. In 1945, that's when General Electric, he was one of the chief scientists there, figured it out. So his brother is this mad scientist. He wrote the book Cat's Cradle about how scientists were getting crazy with technology and how they could destroy the Earth. So,
and most scientists, they don't have our best interest in mind, right?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, do we know most scientists? I'm sure there's all sorts of people that got into science because they actually want to solve problems.
Right. But are those science experiments that they're solving, are those impacting our lives, or are those like low level science experiments that never really see the light of day and never really get exposure?
That's the whole problem with this world, right? It's like money and corruption controls what's influential. So, a lot of great minds are sucked in to do science for corporations and the military that are ultimately to dominate and control the world. And, that's the problem when money's controlling everything. It's just like, like my channel is not something that generates money for the cabal. It might take money away. So that's why we get buried in the algorithm and deleted and censored. And I mean, that's kind of the way the world is right now. It's just, if you're not serving the cabal, you're probably not getting very good ratings, and you're probably not getting paid very well.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat here. A lot of people say this is I'm dumb, or I'm an idiot, or ignorant. I don't see how anything else.
I don't think they're talking about you. I doubt that they're talking about you.
Okay, well, if they are, they should probably.
I wouldn't even read the chat anyway. That's why I don't look at the chat.
Yeah.
People want to hate online, man. People like to be negative behind the anonymity of the internet.
Yeah, but they'll never get on here and show their face and say anything because they don't have a pair of balls.
Right. But I don't think they're talking about you. They might be judging the lady with you, but I'm not judging the lady with you. I like that she speaks honestly.
Oh no, I don't agree with everybody. Oh no.
Well, here, let me ask your friend. Do you feel like the quality of life is declining in the world?
Yeah, I mean, since I was 9 years old, I've been seeing the world for what it is. I mean, like my first experience of the world is being in my first memory of experience in the world is being in Lebanon and being discriminated against for my skin color. So I have an idea of what's going on in the world based off that, because I know that a lot of people are fucking confused, and I know that America sells a lot of lies all across the globe. I'm from a country where most people are Christians because America came and ministered to them and told them to be Christians. So, I mean, I ain't that clueless, but I'm just not going to fall for anyone saying anything. Like, I'm going to more fall for what I have seen and what I've observed. And I'm going to follow that and trust that more than even you providing information, which this guy trusts.
The reason I trust it, let me explain the reason why I trust it is because I've been following Zach's work for 10 plus years, and the numbers check out. It's the same repetitive patterns. It's the same numbers when it's talking about deaths or Black people. It's always a number 42, and you can track these patterns. So the reason that I say, yeah, I believe in this Gematria is because it's proven and it's all documented on videos. And if his channels didn't get deleted, you would have 10 plus years of video evidence.
Okay, and I believe in me because I've lived for 34 years, and since I was 9 years old, I started fucking thinking with my fucking brain, and my brain has been telling me shit, and I fucking see shit. Just probably like how Zach fucking sees shit, and I'm gonna fucking go with me. I'm not gonna go with any fucking body else. I'm sorry.
But this is proven. This is like they're doing patterns like every day. Say that on the first of the month.
I don't care.
I know.
I'm gonna back me up. I can't back anybody else's up. I can't back anyone else up.
But this would be backing you up. This would be backing you up in the same time. You're backing the world up. You're backing all the good people up.
Y'all do y'all. I'm my own battle. Y'all do the battle on earth.
Hey, I'll say this. I'd die right now, today, tomorrow, tonight. I'd die right now. If I knew that we could save the fucking new children and we could save the generation, I would die right now for whatever, you know? So I don't have that mentality. I don't have the, well, I'm poor me. I can't do anything about it. I'll fucking die for this shit.
I don't have a poor me. I can't do anything about it. That's y'all problem. It's not my problem.
It is your problem.
I make sure I'm unaffected every step of the way.
No, because you're still getting taxed. When you work, you get taxed.
I don't give a fuck. They can have that money. It's theirs. Well, they can have it. I don't care.
Well, I'm curious why she thinks she's unaffected.
Yeah, why do you think you're unaffected? Let's go there.
Because I choose to be unaffected. Y'all can, like, I've already spent enough time being emotional that people are starving in the world and crying and hoping that the world is going to be better and thinking that governments are going to work to try to help people. They're not. So now I just
so who is though? So who is going to do it?
No one's going to do it. It's going to go to shit. Y'all going to see. Y'all not going to
see. I do see that. I do see that. That's why I feel like it's like it's people who see that you see what's wrong, but what I'm hearing from you is you've seen what's wrong and you've dealt with enough of your life. So with whatever part of your life you have left, you want to not be about that and enjoy the good parts of life, which I understand. But for people who do see it and want to stop it, I feel like that's where the responsibility is to work to stop it.
Well, stopping it isn't like finding people like me who already know what the situation is and like trying to get them to go back into fucking war. If we don't want to fucking do the battle, we don't have to do it. So if you're in the battle, you need to choose to be in the battle, but you don't need to be dragging people into it.
But you see how the battle will come to you if nothing's done about it. Like there's a lot of people who aren't here because their heart stopped, because they had to get a pokey doke, because that's what the government decided worldwide all across this earth. And if you drew the short stick, you might have a turbo cancer right here now. You might be out of here from that. Your heart might have stopped. I mean, it's happened to a number of people. My mom across the street, there's a 17-year-old boy and his girlfriend died. I mean, I never heard of 17-year-old girls dropping dead before.
Not before COVID. Not before the shot. Shit.
You know? Does your friend know about the Georgia Guidestones?
The Georgia Guidestones. I've tried to educate her on the Georgia Guidestones.
Yes, I know the Georgia Guidestones. I've like read people. listened to people read it, and I've read some of it, got it. Like, to me, I'm just like, I don't know how much to say that I don't care, because I'm just like, I don't see myself a person that
Well, here,
is
let's just
like,
throw out a
I'll say this. Hold on.
I see this earth as very temporary.
Right. So I'll say this. She's a person. She doesn't have any children. She doesn't want to have any children. She's very happy just doing her own thing and living her own life until
Sure.
I guess her ticket gets called. So keep that in mind, whoever's listening. She doesn't have children. She doesn't want children. So when she speaks from this perspective she's speaking from, keep that in mind too. So,
Well, I think honestly, her mindset probably represents a pretty common mindset. People are sick of the world; they're burnt out on it, and they don't feel like anything can be done about it, and they don't want to invest any time or energy into trying to do anything about it. So,
yeah.
and I think, again, I'm not saying it's women's responsibility to do anything about it. Historically, men fight the wars, but I would say her mindset's probably the exact same as most men too. And I think that's why we will see. That's why I think that we'll watch the cabal eventually achieve their plan of what was on the Georgia Guidestones. And some
How
people
soon,
might have
Zach?
some
How
regrets in
soon?
that last moment, when the plan's being achieved and they're becoming one of the statistics.
How soon? How soon do you think until that ball gets, really, really going?
Tomorrow.
I mean, you could say it's been in motion, but it could get moving a lot faster. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Anything else? Anything else?
You asked me to be on here.
Yeah,
So what?
No, because you brought up Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I said, yeah, this is a good time to jump on here and ask all kinds of shit.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not under the impression that every single person who's in Hollywood needs to be labeled as a Freemason. So that
not everyone is, but there are a lot.
Not everyone is.
A lot of them are.
Not everyone is. So to me, I just feel like with this guy, every time I have a conversation, it's it's fake because it's fake because it's fake. And
well, is that because you're talking about news stories or like how's that
anything? Anything. I can have a fucking opinion, and he's gonna let me know that it's fake because
it's following
somebody told him on YouTube. I'm sick of it.
No, it's because she listens to these fucking news stories and yeah, whatever. Anyways,
what news stories do I listen to?
The ones you fucking know. The same thing I tell you that shit's fake. All that shit's fake. The same ones I tell you that shit's fake. All that once. So whatever you remember.
Because I read a headline, that means I believe in the headline and I'm falling for the headline.
No. Anyway, Zach, she's drinking tonight. Zach, she's drinking tonight. Pardon me.
All right. Well,
he's drinking. Anyway, Zach, I appreciate you, dog. Keep doing the work.
I'm drinking, but I ain't stupid and I ain't dumb. Okay.
No one said you were. No one said you were.
I'm drinking, but I ain't stupid. I ain't dumb. That's why I'm trying to tell you that what I said ain't stupid or dumb.
Okay.
So you don't gotta say, "Oh, she's drinking." You don't gotta use that as a.
Well, you're not acting the same either. I'm letting you know that too. So.
Oh,
bye. Anyways,
feel confident on here. Feel confident on here because I'm gonna light you up.
Hey, call the cops, Zach. Call the cops.
Yeah, I'm gonna light you up as soon as you hang up. Feel real good about yourself. Smile.
All right, Zach.
Smile and show them. Yes, look at this handsome.
All right. I don't know how much she drank, but she might regret some things tomorrow. You just never know. So you can't always judge somebody when they've been drinking. Sometimes their opinions on things are a little bit different. But hold on, we got somebody else in the back room. We got Ani Asaru. What's up?
What's going on, Zach? You hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, brother. I just wondered why on Twitter your page blocked me. I didn't understand.
My page is blocked?
Yeah, my page is blocked. I'm one of the, leading people with Gematria in the spiritual community. And I just saw I was blocked like a couple of months ago. And I was like, did I do something wrong? Or did somebody else run the page or something?
I don't know why you would be blocked. What's your handle on there?
It's Ani Osaru.
Let me see.
Yeah, we do the same type work. I read the same book as you back then. What was the Freemason that wrote the book on Gematria? I read that same book.
It did say you were blocked. I just unblocked you. I don't know why you were blocked. I don't know how that happened. Might have been an accident. I might have meant to block a troll and I accidentally hit you.
Okay. What? But yeah, it was years back. I read the same book as you, and I started researching because in the magical orders you saw in Thelema and these other orders, they were using gematria, and I'm in contact with Alan H. Greenfield, one of the lead people on ufology, and he was talking about how they use gematria to actually make contact with entities, and they give like numerological patterns to the entities that they make contact with when they're doing seances. So is very deep on that side in magical orders of how they use it, and then they implement it into the matrix code, into the strip of society, sports, headlines, public figures. But it starts with the entities that they make contact with. So I was just wondering, I was like, if we could combine that information, we could figure out even more through the ciphers of even more. So I've been doing that, going on bigger platforms, looking into your work, into is it Derek? It's the other guy that does work as well. I think his name is Derek, and a couple of other people that do work in the community. I was just wondering. I was like, did I get singled out because I was talking specifically about that, and I had question, on my platform. I said, I don't know why Zach blocked me.
Well, you're unblocked. I did just check, and it did say you were blocked, but I unblocked
Okay.
it. I'm guessing I get a lot of trolls on there. I probably accidentally clicked on your name instead of the troll.
Okay, it's cool. Well, let me just ask you a story. You've been seeing all of this. I saw you post with Trump going to McDonald's, and you made the connection to M and magic and masonry on one of your posts, and how Kamala Harris also said she worked at McDonald's. Have you been seeing an uptick of like artists talking about like coming out with specific burgers? Like the rapper Bun B started his own restaurant, Trail Burger. I didn't look
Bun
into
B,
that
of
gematria.
course, Bun B would have a burger place. Okay.
And Absol, that is under the same label that Kendrick Lamar used to be under. He just dropped a new album, or he's dropping a new album called Soul Burger. Then Ice Cube, the same day Cuba had the blackout, he came out with a video, and the restaurant was called Ego Burger. And then you had the whole going to McDonald's thing. So I was looking at connections because today they revealed that McDonald's burgers is given E. coli all over the country.
And did you see there's 49 cases and Kamala Harris equals 49 and she's the 49th VP and Donald J. Trump's 49? I mean, all this stuff's
Mm,
jokes and it just shows you how illegitimate these organizations are.
absolutely. And who do you think going to win the election? I'm leaning through the gematria side on Kamala winning. Not that I want her to win. I think it'll be worse off. I mean, both of them are horrible candidates, in my opinion. But worst off, I think Kamala may be worse for the country. But um, Trump, he might win based on the astrology from my astrologist. Shout out to Kalini. She did Vedic astrology on his chart, and she was saying she thinks Trump may win based on the astrology, but Kamala looks good on the gematria end. What is your opinion on who's going to win on 11/6?
Well, again, you know what Gerald Ford said in on October 18th,
Yeah,
1989, I assume.
yeah, female president.
Yeah, he
And
said the first female president won't be voted in. It'll happen when a old man is the president, he dies, and then a younger woman will be the VP and she'll become president. And again, he said that in the Herbert Hoover Library for people who don't know this. And if you look it up, Herbert Hoover died October 20th, 1964. That's the same day Kamala was born. And it's
mm,
interesting because that's 110 days after the Civil Rights Act, and president equals 110. So Kamala does have the numbers to become president. Is it going to be like Gerald Ford said? Is it going to be not being voted in, but when an old man dies? I mean, theoretically, she could lose the election. Biden could die before the end of his term's up, January 20th, 2025, and she'll become president. However, if you go back and listen to what Gerald Ford said, he said when that happens, he said it'll be a hard time for a man to ever become president again.
mm.
So
Wow.
it's interesting, but the other thing that I keep pointing out is If you go back to 2016 when Trump won, the election was called for him while he was at 248 electoral votes, and President Donald Trump equals 248. And right now, the country and the Illuminati are 248 years old. So
Right.
you could look at that as, well, does that mean he's going to return as president while the country's 248 years old? Or is this where the gig is up and he's no longer ever a candidate again? They've made it confusing with how they've lined all this up. Again, um, just to tell people other things that matter. So Kamala means lotus flower, and when Trump went to the Vatican in 2017, he gave the Pope a lotus flower, and that was 217 days after his birthday when he did that. And then this year, when Biden passed the torch to Kamala, he did it on the 21st day of July, the 21st day of the 7th month, 217 again. And that was also 217 days after the Pope's birthday. And that's interesting because the phrase whore of Babylon equals 217. And in the Bible, the whore of Babylon is described as wearing purple with a pearl necklace, just like what Kamala wore for Inauguration Day. And that's also what Lisa Simpson wears in the Simpsons episode, where she's the first female president of the United States following Donald Trump. And that episode came out 152 days after Kamala's birthday, and Kamala Devi Harris equals 152, just like Joe Biden equals 152, just like how pass the torch equals 152, the phrase for when he passed it. So,
and the Olympic symbol having the female face on it.
Well, and they had Snoop Dogg carrying the torch for the USA, and he has the same birthday as Kamala, and that was right after the past torch thing.
She locked up black men for
Who
smoking.
who smoked weed like Snoop Dogg, you know.
And the torch looked like a blunt.
yeah, exactly.
You know, I saw that connection. And by the way, when are you coming out with the 201 book? Because I've been finding a lot of 201s.
Well, that's why I can't finish the 201 book, man, because there's always like another one to cover. I was like, oh my God, this book's impossible to finish. I just need to stop it and just put it out and start a new edition.
Yeah, just put it out, because there's so many 201s. It's so many that I'm seeing right now. It's like, you know, the Jaguar Wright whole thing. I was, you know, I did an interview with Jaguar Wright before she went on Piers Morgan. I'm one of her counselors. On Gematria, I did a decode of her son being killed on the 251st day of the year, 251 days before her birthday. So she's starting to put Gematria out on her Patreon, or share like info, like you know, from people in the community that's doing it, because she's figuring out her son and mother this year was sacrificed in a Gematria ritual. So she's fearing that right now. But if she was talking about Jay-Z on Piers Morgan, so I went to the date calculator and I noticed her birthday on May 17th is 201 days before Jay-Z's December 4th birthday.
Very interesting. Yeah, I wonder when she started covering the Gematria thing. I was talking to Lord Jamar on his stream, and then his next stream he did was with her, and I was talking Gematria, and I wonder if she picked it up there.
Probably so. I just her boyfriend reached out to me about 3 months ago, and he liked my information because I did a Gematria decode on her whole life and showed how she's connected to the cabal. Then we did a phone call, and she told me that she actually did sign a Illuminati contract, and you know, her handler hasn't been in contact with her for a minute, so she was trying to like expose it before they came back and claim her. But I'm like, is she still working for them? Because she's going on Piers Morgan 322 days before his birthday and all of this type stuff. You know, I'm just wondering, is it bigger than, is it some type of magic spell or hypnotism? Because you know, the Jesuit Franz Mesmer went to Ingolstadt and studied mesmerism and hypnotism. He was a Jesuit.
I mean, I'm convinced there's a magical element to this, and I think that's why so much of our fellow people are under a spell. So, spells and spelling.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, we need to do some work in the future if we can team up and do some breakdowns, because I have some other information. But I appreciate you for you know, unblocking me, and I think we should do some work in the future.
Yeah, I'm sorry about being blocked. I can only assume it was an accident. I mean, I'm blocking trolls all the time, and I'm guessing sometimes I get up at like 4 in the morning, and all I got is like 5 troll comments. I'm like block, 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 and I
Yeah,
bet just I accidentally hit you. So,
I get it. Have a good night, man.
all right, yeah, take care. Yeah, it's like Twitter. I have like what 20 some thousand people that follow on there, and I swear to God, it's like 9 out of 10 comments are troll comments. I'm like, does anybody follow this page that's not a troll? Am I just like broadcasting to trolls? Um, Well, Lord Jamar shouted out my book when it came out 4 years ago in a big way, and I'm kinda disappointed in him because I feel like Lord Jamar's, money, man, money corrupts. I think Lord Jamar is getting some money and getting behind some agendas. See a lot of these rappers coming out for Trump, and people gotta pay the bills, but yeah, it's unfortunate. I'd have to say Lord Jamar's selling out right now. I don't want to burn that bridge though. He lets me come on his show and talk. So, but he also kind of rushes me off because he knows I'm pushing against what he's doing right now. All right. If nobody else wants to come on here and share anything, if you guys got here late, rewind to the beginning. I covered everything about this and more, but um, maybe I dropped the link if anybody else wants to come on and talk about this. Again, like people who leave these kind of comments, you must be aware of my channel since you left this comment. This guy, why don't you come on here right now and explain this comment to me? like how it's crazy to me that I mean that comments like this have been left 1,000 times. I'm always like, how can these people like you didn't just watch what I presented and say, I need to look more into this. How am I the bad guy? It's crazy how people just like they get so angry. I guess it's that Jack Nicholson quote from the '90s. You can't handle the truth. Here we got a brave man in the room. What's up, man? How
Hey,
you doing?
what's up? What's up, Zach? How you doing today, brother?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to your Patreon page, and I found you back in the day, when you was talking about that 135 golden rule and the Warriors winning the championship back in the day. So I've been on a couple times to speak to you, but usually don't get any time to chime in. I'm usually watching the replays.
Well, thanks for supporting the work. First of all, and being around for all this time.
Yeah, no problem, sir. I had a question though about the Yankees and getting their 105th win. Since we talking about Fernando Valenzuela and birth and his death and all, do you think there's any World War II connections with all these Japanese players shining in the playoffs?
Man, they're always doing salutes to World War II with the Japanese athletes from the Masters to things they've done with Otani in the past.
Yeah,
All these rumors of World War right now, now that you think about it, and Otani, big Japanese star front and center for this season. I'm going to have to explore that angle more because I haven't really been looking at it through that lens right now, but it probably is there. So,
oh, okay, yeah, because I seen something about, I think Jose, what's that guy, Joseph Mario Bergoglio, that's his name or something,
the Pope, Jose
has
Mario
the
Bergoglio.
yeah, and he has the big 105 connection, and the Yankees can get their 105th win if they beat the Dodgers
I called him
and win the
Jose.
World Series. Yeah,
Jorge.
Jorge. Yeah. I remember the second part, Mario Bergoglio, but I always forget the first name.
Jorge.
Yeah.
The 105 is interesting. I mean, that's the thing with the 100. Listen, you guys. I'll tell you what. If the Yankees are going to have to overcome the World Series number to win, but the 105 gives them a shot in light of the 105th NFL season. I'm telling you, if you guys see the Yankees win the World Series, Mahomes is definitely winning the Super Bowl because
That's
in
what I
history,
believe.
the New York Yanks became the Dallas Texans, became the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Yankees three-peated 24 years ago, like Missouri's the 24th state. And when they three-peated, they beat the Mets in the Subway Series, and Mahomes' father was on that Mets team. So it's the 105th season right now, and Mahomes' birthday is the day leaving 105 days left in the year. That's the Yankees narrative. That's why they had Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce at the Yankees games in the ALCS. But they got to overcome the World Series number. And I've never seen that happen to date. So it doesn't mean it can't happen. Never say never. So we'll see.
I was just saying, because now that gambling's legal, bro, I know a lot of dumb people who all they do is bet the Dodgers every day in baseball. -1.5, money line. Like they don't open their account to do nothing else but bet a Dodgers game.
Sure.
And they've been making money. So I was just
They've
saying,
been winning like crazy. That's why they've
yeah,
been
that's
doing
what I'm saying. The public been winning like crazy. And I said, I was going, well, it's got to run out at some point. Vegas don't got all those tall buildings just letting the public collect every day.
Well, believe me, a lot of people bet on the Yankees too.
Yeah, but I don't
They got
think
a
they
bigger
bet.
fan base. They got
No,
more
Yankees have
Dodgers.
a way bigger fan base than the Dodgers. That is true, but I'm just saying for sporting reasons, I don't know if they do it. And I was looking into the 105s, so I started leaning Yankees. But you're right, the World Series number is very big in the Dodgers' favor.
Again, I told everybody in spring training the Dodgers should be in the World Series, and if it wasn't them, it'd be Atlanta in the NL. And we put a future in for the Yankees mid-season. And when the postseason came around, I told everybody, I said, it looks like it's Dodgers-Yankees. They got the World Series numbers. Again, you guys, it comes back to the same numbers every year at the World Series. The Yankees had the best run differential in MLB. They outscored their opponents by 147 runs. And game one of the World Series is on Dave Roberts' 140. Game one of the World Series, October 25th, is 147 days after Dave Roberts' birthday. Plus, the Dodgers started this postseason on 147 losses in the postseason. And do you know how many wins they have in the World Series right now?
How many wins do they have now at the end of the World Series? They're 199.
I'll tell you what. If you add 4, it's going to hit one of those numbers up there on the screen. I'll tell you that much.
They don't have they have 143 wins in the playoffs right now, and if they win 4 more, they get to 147.
They have X amount of numbers in the World Series, and if they win 4 more, they're going to hit one of those numbers up there. You know they don't have 143 in the World Series.
Oh, I thought you said the World Series or the playoffs. Okay, so I think they have 53 wins.
In the World Series.
They have 50.
Or in the World Series, they're going to have X amount of wins in the World Series. That's one of those numbers up there. Do you remember
57.
last year? Yeah, there you go. Just like how the Rangers manager got his 57th postseason win last year. That's the number I almost always talk about every year when the World Series comes around.
Yeah.
It's just like it comes up every year, you guys. Nationals equals 57. When the Astros got beat in the World Series, they picked up their 57th postseason loss. And when the Astros got beat by Atlanta, they got their 69th loss in the postseason. And look at how Atlanta's 69 like World Series. Again, every year the World Series comes back to these numbers, and that's why we said at the beginning of the postseason, we said look like it's Dodgers and Yankees. And, there's a goofball in this community who copies my work and always tries to go against my picks. And a few days ago, he said he guaranteed it wasn't going to be the Dodgers and Yankees. Like, how are you using my knowledge and making it look so bad every year? How are you going to guarantee it's not going to be the World Series numbers when it is every year? So, anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Zach. I'm about to head to bed. It's about 3 a.m. where I'm at. But thanks for your time.
All right, get some rest, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Take care. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to join? I'm dropping the link. And if you guys, want to learn about this stuff, we stream every day on Patreon covering sports. And trolls and haters stay steady in the comments trying to lie about our accomplishments. I seen so many other comments like, Zach didn't have the Yankees and Dodgers. Like, what other teams did I have? I mean, every day I reminded they were the team with the World Series numbers, and I had a troll, or I just said troll. I had a pack of people in my live streams every day trying to convince me it was every team but the Dodgers and Yankees. I was like, I don't know. I think you better go with the World Series numbers. I think you better go with the World Series numbers. It's probably at least 5 hours of me saying that exact phrase over the course of the postseason so far, having to remind everybody. So. And we started off well with the NBA again tonight. LeBron. You guys, you just got to ask yourself, what are the odds that LeBron picked up his 205th win with the Lakers tonight and stayed on 79 home losses to open the 79th season? Again, and then what are the odds that they announced the death of Fernando Valenzuela in the game when his name equals 79, and he was the Cy Young winner, and he learned to throw the screwball in 79. You know, and he's a baseball guy. While they got two baseball father and son stars at the game, represented Seattle, who won the 79 NBA Finals. I mean, what are the odds of these things? What are the odds of all these things being a coincidence? And what are the odds that I've been here for 11 years showing the same stuff season after season and going, how don't people see it? And again, I've talked about Major League Baseball in 63,000 times. I've been talking about it with deaths throughout the year. And now here it is again. He's dead at 63 for unknown reasons. Here, let's get the latest reporting before I hop off here. I'm going to drop the link one more time, see if anybody wants to hop on. And then let's just read some of this reporting about his death. They rush these stories out so fast, and they never even know what happened to the people. All they know is he's dead. Here, let's see how ESPN's covering it. TMZ's reporting. Let's get the TMZ report. Fernando Valenzuela, the iconic Los Angeles Dodger pitcher turned team Spanish broadcaster, has died, the team announced Tuesday night. The legend played 17 seasons. I mean, how many times I got to teach you about 17 in the MLB? And isn't it wild that that World Series that he won over the Yankees did begin on Kamala's 17th birthday? With much of his tenure, and again, we just saw the Dodgers clinch the World Series on Kamala's birthday. With much of his tenure spent with the Dodgers, who he helped to win a World Series in 1981 when LA defeated the New York Yankees. Wow, how weird. That's what the World Series is for the first time since he was in it 43 years ago. RIP 43. The Mexico-born superstar became the first player to win the Rookie of the Year and Cy Young in the same season, a nearly unmatchable feat. As TMZ Sports previously reported earlier this month, the Dodgers announced Fernando would not return to his role with the team's Spanish broadcast crew this season, saying he was taking time to focus on his health. The team made the surprising announcement several days after he abruptly left the mic on September 24th against the San Diego Padres. Are you kidding me? So, again, you guys, just another thing with Steve Garvey, because remember, this season began on the 63rd day of Steve Garvey's age. The first spring training game of the year was Dodgers and Padres as two teams. Dodgers won 14-1 to start their 141st season. When they just beat the Mets, they picked up their 141st home win versus the Mets all time to advance to the World Series. Perfect ritual for their 141st season. Go from one New York team to the next. But September 24th would have been 28 days before today. Kill equals 28. That's what stands out to me about that. There might be something else. Again, Steve Garvey's 75 right now. The 75th World Series was the Yankees beating the Dodgers when Garvey was on the Dodgers. For all you guys who don't understand how scripted this stuff is, go back and look. The Yankees picked up their 330th and 331st wins versus the Royals, 330 days and then 331 days after King Charles' birthday. I mean, that 331 is the 67th prime. King equals 67, like Kansas City. Home teams fell to 11-14 in the postseason the same day the Yankees closed out the Royals. Charles' birthday is 11-14. The other year, you had the killing stories on King Charles' birthday. One's on Kings Road at University of Idaho, and then also the Virginia Cavaliers football players who got killed. Both those stories broke on his birthday. Cavaliers are those who fought for King Charles. That was his 74th birthday, like the king equals 74, and so does killing. And so does Moscow, where University of Idaho is. Anyway, back to this. But despite what sounded like a potentially serious medical situation, there was talk Fernando would be back next season, which was music to the ears of Dodgers fans. Unfortunately, Fernando will now have to watch from up above as an angel in the outfield, as his beloved team will face the Yankees in the World Series starting Friday. They put out a picture from May 5th, 18. What's 5 plus 5 plus 18? 28. Again, did 20 or steps away 28 days before. You know what else about the day he stepped away? September 24, 24. 9 plus 24 plus 24 is 57. I was just saying, this number comes back. These World Series numbers come back every year. September 24th is the day leaving 100 days left in the year. So that means in a leap year, it's the 266th day of the year. Yeah, the Jesuit motto. Oops, I wrote September 25th. The Jesuit motto. Or no, hold on, you guys. Sorry, I'm doing bad math right now. I'm doing bad math. My bad. No, I'm wrong. It's the day leaving 98 days left in the year. To think more about it. There's more to that date. Here, let's see what happened with the Dodgers on September 24th. Padres, Steve Garvey teams. Padres won 4-2 that day. The Dodgers fell to 93 and 64. Again, 93 is this special number. Thelema equals 93. It's connected to Saturn. Saturn's connected to time and death and judgment. And they got the 64th loss, and I just somehow kill equals 28. Kill also equals 64. I have to think. I bet there's more about it. I have to go back and go back and see like what it was between the Dodgers and Padres, the series for the year. I think there's more to it. I'll save it for later. What's up, Dragon's Age?
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, awesome. Bro, you're doing great work, man. I think you're really hard on yourself, but you're doing great work. And I've been watching you for probably 4 or 5 years now. And I think you're right on the money, man. I think you got it figured out. And I'm sorry that I don't have a lot of money to put behind you and push you up, but um, people that people that do have money, they probably don't want to push you up because they're living on the racket that you're exposing. So
I think so.
it's kind of a weird dichotomy, right? That you're in, like you're kind of stuck in a place where you're showing something that everybody should know, and if we all knew, we would not fall for it. But a lot of people fall for it, and people that are making the money off of it, they don't want people to know what you're telling them because they're making money off it. So
Yeah, I think you're largely right. And a lot
I
of people
love
have a
I
theory that other platforms don't want to share my work because they're worried that they'll lose their viewership to yours truly. So
I I love your show, bro. I like to come on your show and give you a smile and a comment like, "Hey, good job," like give you a thumbs up. But we're kind of fighting an uphill battle here. It's a really
yeah,
bad battle to be in. We're in the low place, and that they've got the high ground, and it's like the scene in The Highlander where the Kurgan is facing off against Ramirez, and he's in the Highlander's castle, and he's just crushing, and Ramirez doesn't stand a chance, right?
I haven't seen the
Uh,
movie. I haven't seen the
oh,
movie,
you
but when you
gotta
said we were going up a cliff, I was envisioning that we're mountain climbers without ice picks.
you gotta see the Highlander, bro. The Highlander, the original version of the Highlander from 1986.
Okay,
Just tells you everything. Just shows everything right there.
I'll have to check that out. All right, appreciate that.
Thanks, Zach. I love you, bro.
Thanks, man. Right back at you. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, take care. All right, we got is it Sway Leah? Am I saying that right? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Maybe it's Sway Lee.
Yeah, it's just Swaley. Long time listener. Watch you on YouTube for a while now, but this is my first time calling into the show.
Well, thanks for calling in. Yeah, what's
Oh
on your
yeah,
mind?
yeah for sure. One thing I wanted to come on here and say was this is actually something I missed off bat because I actually called the Dodgers and the Yankees to go to the World Series too back on June 14th. I'm not too sure whenever you had them going, but
You called it on Trump's birthday. Well, you had it
and
before
that's
me. You had it before me.
that's
I
actually
had the
funny. I
Dodgers
actually
for
did
spring
mean to
training,
do
but
that.
I didn't have Dodgers Yankees quite that far back. So well done.
Yeah, but one thing I did miss was go look what day Juan Soto was traded to the Yankees. So it actually announced that he was traded to the Yankees on 12/6. Okay, and it's
December
interesting
6th,
because
December 6th last year.
yeah, yep,
Okay.
12/6, and it's interesting because I actually saw the Dodgers going to this World Series in a Kobe Bryant ritual, and as I think everybody knows, Kobe Bryant died on 1/26, right? And Juan Soto was traded to the Yankees 1/26.
And now
Well,
the
this
World
World,
Series starts on his birthday, and
yep, and it starts on
the
his
Dodgers have a
26th
chance to
birthday.
win their 8th championship in 24.
Yep, it starts on his 26th birthday, and Kobe died obviously on the 26th day of the year. He can become the 13th MVP for the Yankees versus LA if you do like the Yankees narrative
And
over the Dodgers.
the one other thing about Juan Soto is he was on that Nationals team that beat the Astros, synced up with Trump, who's the New York guy.
Oh
So
yeah,
there are a few things there that are interesting for the Yankees.
yeah, the 105 too there with the Nationals. Yeah, yeah, because in that one guy came on earlier and he was talking about he got his name wrong, but the Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Well, of course, his name equals 111 and 105. The Yankees are in their 111th year of existence in New York. They actually moved to New York in 1913, and they're in their 111th year of existence. Jorge Mario Bergoglio equals 111, 105, and of course the big 105 connection in this year's World Series.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. That's a good catch.
Yeah. And then the Dodgers can pick up, of course, their 14th World Series loss. Kobe equals 15. That's just kind of the way that I see this series going. I'm not for sure on Yankees. I was more just calling the matchup, and I'm not really looking towards the Yankees' price overall in the series. I'm more looking at the Juan Soto, actually, because I think if the Yankees win it, they're not going to give it to Aaron Judge. I think he will obviously be the favorite overall. Not over Ohtani, but right behind Ohtani. I like the Soto narrative on 126 being traded. And the last Yankees MVP winner to win it in the world's 105th World Series versus Kobe Bryant's hometown was actually born on 6/12, date that can be written 126, same day he was traded to the Yankees.
The Yankees haven't won a
Hideki
World
Matsui.
Series for 15 years, and this is
Yeah.
the 120th World Series. 120 is the 15th triangular number. They won the 105th, and if they did win it this year, they would get their 105th win of the season. So,
Yeah, very interesting matchup all around. I think it was pretty obvious to spot from the dead get on. I do have another friend who I became pretty close in the decoder space, Valentino. He had the Guardians going in a Trump ritual, and of course, we did just see the Guardians match up with them in the ALCS.
I thought that there was a very good chance at the start of the postseason that would be the ALCS for the Grover Cleveland tribute, and it was about Grover Cleveland. The Cleveland season ended on what would have been the 216th day of his age, like Cleveland's the 216 area code.
Yep.
And Cleveland Guardians equals 73, just like Grover Cleveland, just like ALCS. The series ended on the day, leaving 73 days left in the year. And then Dodgers equals 72. They ramp up their series the next day, getting their 105th win, winning 10-5 while
Winning
Jack
10-5,
was 5 years old when he died in 72. Dodgers equals 72. I mean, again, you guys, you learn the gematria and you look at the way they pay tribute to history. It goes on every day in rig sports. If you understand the narrative, you see right through it.
Yeah, the 10-5 in that last score was crazy. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I did have another point. What was I gonna
You did something to your mic. You got quiet.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm just talking through like my phone speaker. I did have another point to make, but I forgot it.
Well, I can put you in the back room for a minute and let somebody else on, and then I come back to you if you can remember what it is.
Oh yeah, it
All
was
right.
this.
Oh, you got it.
It was the matchup that was last weekend versus the Bengals and the Browns. They were playing 16 days until the election in the Battle of Ohio equals 16. I thought that matchup was really interesting as well as obviously.
Yeah, and the
Scripted.
Browns fell to 1-6 like Ohio 16, and Zach
Right.
Taylor stayed on 48 losses like Cleveland's 48, and now he plays the Eagles, which equal 49.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yep, I'll start coming up more and just dropping some tidbits, but I appreciate you having me on.
All right.
Long time listener, and I've kind of built my own community, so I just appreciate you for everything that you're doing and the way you break stuff down and just your knowledge on the subject, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Welcome, man. Keep it
Yep.
going. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have taken the knowledge and built up their own community. I love to see that too. It's helping get the word out even more. What's up, Jawan Rogers? Jawan Rogers? Hello? Uh-oh, his mic might... You muted yourself, but maybe you were trying to toggle that to see if we could figure it out. It says I can't unmute you because you chose to mute yourself. Okay. I'm not sure if he's having technical issues or what's going on over there. I'll drop the link one more time in case anybody else wants to hop on. If we can't get Jawan Rogers through his technical issues. He rejoined. Let's see. Maybe this one will work. Jawan Rogers, take 2.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay, excellent. All right, so another long-time listener, been following since 2018, and just wanted to thank you for your good work. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the NBA championship between the Celtics versus the Lakers?
Wouldn't that be one, man? Oh, yeah. It's again, it's an interesting narrative. It's an interesting narrative. The Celtics' next championship is 19. Again, they outscored the opponent by 19 points in the first quarter, and they scored 19 in the fourth. And one more time, if they win another finals before they lose another finals, they're going to be 19-5 in the finals, and Boston Celtics equals 195 like Robert Kennedy. And the finals start this year on the anniversary of Robert Kennedy getting shot, kind of like how Trump had his little hoax on the 195th day of the year, and then Robert Kennedy's son got Secret Service protection after that. Man, just like everybody wanted to see Dodgers LA, everybody would love to see Celtics Lakers. So it's
Yeah,
definitely a possibility. Well, it's in the realm of possibility.
okay, yeah, I'll have that thought, but I put a future bet on the Dodgers to beat the Yankees in the World Series.
Okay.
So
I think you're in good shape. How long ago did you put that future in?
ooh, man, maybe in the beginning of the
So you're in
year.
position. You should hedge your bet then too, just in case it goes the other way, because now you're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I seen something that the Yankees can become 9-3 versus the Dodgers in the World Series, or Dodgers can be just
Yeah.
like that.
That's one of the scary things for the Dodgers. Dodgers have the World Series number on their side though, and that thing doesn't
It
really
is.
fail. But
Now,
there are
another thing is
that are a little bit different.
with the 3-9 with New York. You know, Dodgers falling to 3-9 versus the New York team.
Yeah. But again, if the Yankees lose the World Series, they're going to have 39 losses versus the Dodgers in the World Series.
Oh, okay.
See how they did that?
So that's huge.
They made it so the 39s on either side, but the true 39 is right there because 3-9 is not exactly a true 39.
Aha. Okay, I like that a lot. Another thing I wanted to say was I did a future bet with Dodgers to beat Yankees, but I parlayed it with the Chiefs to beat the Packers in the Super Bowl. And it's a $5 parlay, and it pays about $16,000.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
What,
That's within the realm
what?
of possibility too.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Chiefs, but I'm thinking about the Packers. What kind of scenarios do you have on them?
Well, I'm not giving out everything on here. This is a free stream. Join the Patreon.
Yeah. No, I'm signed up to the Patreon.
Oh, well, I'm not going to give out everything
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, but thank you for your work, man. I appreciate
I'd
you for
rewind
taking
this
out your
stream and watch
time.
the beginning, what I said at the beginning, because I know you missed the beginning. So you're going to want to go back and watch what I said about this World Series at the beginning. I gave people some gems for free.
Okay, will do. Will do. Will do. And I'll do my best to do my work too and get some good information and get some good decodes. And if I have some, I'll come up and share what I have as well.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it,
Okay.
man. Keep up
Thank
the
you.
good work. And again,
Mhm.
wise men hedge their bets. If you're in the driver's seat like that with the future, just put a hedge on the other side, and then you're guaranteed to make money. So,
All right.
all right. You have a good night, man. Keep up the good
You
work.
too.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
All right. And we had our other friend come back. What's up?
Yeah, what's up, Zach? No, I know we was getting in discussion about the Japan connection, and you said you was going to wanted to look into it because that's interesting. The Dodgers are on 7 world. I just want to add a couple things real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are on 7 World Series. The Yankees are on 28 World Series. World War I started on 7/28, 1914, and then I think right before World War II, the Yankees won the World Series. And usually before war worlds or market collapses, a New York or Philadelphia team usually wins in baseball because the Phillies won before the last 2 market collapses. And I think before the Great Depression started, either the New York Yankees or Brooklyn Dodgers won that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and do more research on that history. I know the Phillies have been connected to market collapses with their
Yeah,
World Series.
yeah. And then the Yankees won it in 1938, and World War One started in 1939. They had to cancel the baseball season that year when World War One started, I believe.
Just for everyone who doesn't know this, the first time the Yankees and Dodgers ever played in the World Series was 41. Might
Wow.
remind you of Kobe.
Yeah.
And again, the Dodgers have won 7 championships, and it is 24. So,
Yep. And then Otani wears number 17. Fernando Valenzuela played 17 seasons. You probably already mentioned all this earlier. And 17, the 7th prime, Dodgers into the World Series with their 7th World Series.
mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just adding a couple of things because you were talking. Oh yeah, this was the one I really forgot. I always forget something when I come up here. If both teams had finished 4-1 in the ALCS, they would have moved the World Series up to Ichiro's birthday.
Well,
Which
what's funny is at the very start of the year, they actually had this on the website. They had the start date of the World Series for October 22nd. And then at some point, maybe a month or so in the season, they changed it to October 25th. So they
wow.
initially did have it for Ichiro's birthday.
Okay, yeah, because that's what got me looking into the Japanese thing, which is if and then Yamamoto versus Sengai was the game that the Dodgers end up winning, which meant that if they could still go on to win 4-1, which was what I was thinking about. That's what it had me thinking about it.
Sure. And just for people who missed it, Ichiro, who's the most famous Japanese baseball player ever, he was 50 years old this season as Otani became the first ever 50-50 member.
Yep, and
And
oh
go ahead.
yeah, and Matsui, who's the only Japanese player to ever win the World Series MVP, I believe, did it for the Yankees against the Phillies in 2009.
15 years ago, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Japan equals 15.
Wow. Okay. Yep. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, you have a good night. I know you're getting tired too, but thanks, brother. I appreciate you, everything you do.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Yep.
All right, last call. Last call to be on the show. I'm going to drop the link one more time, but I do need to go to bed because I'm already not getting enough sleep. I'm way behind on sleep this week. If I don't look tired, I am. So. Yeah, that dude whose abbreviation CMK. No, he's making the work look so bad, and something so suspect the way that the way his channel's growing. He did the wackest decode on the 2022 NBA Finals, and he went against what I said. He was totally wrong. It was embarrassing. It was so bad, and his channel grew by like 20 some thousand subs in the time of the finals. And I thought, I'm getting my channels deleted right now, and I can't grow at all. And this guy's putting out the wrong information and growing like this. Something is up. So, no, I'd rank him as the he's close to the worst decoder. You could argue he's the very worst. The thing he did on Milton shouldn't even be online. And what kills me is I mean, he doesn't get that great of views. He's never had a 1,000,000 view video, and I've had tons of videos that were right at him. I've had 2 videos that clips 1,000,000 views out of that, which is kind of sad in a way. They've only had 2 videos ever clips 1,000,000 views in light of the fact I probably made like over 12,000 videos at this point. But I've had a lot of videos close to 1,000,000 views. He's never really had any video that got that many views, but he gets more views than me now, and all of his decodes don't even need to be online. They don't do anything to make the work look good. Like when people say Gematria is bullshit, it's because of channels like his. So, yeah, this channel is super blacklisted. But if you don't know who CMK is, you also don't need to know who they are. I gave them shout outs in the past, but I'm not going to anymore because their work is horrible. Yeah, that other guy that's name's getting mentioned in there, who we'll just call CX, is. I mean, it's just also a joke, and yeah, that's what you call co-opted. There's a reason that YouTube made those channels have over 100,000 subscribers, and they make my work look like dog shit. So, again, for real, no, you might have come across other channels who were doing this before you came across me. If you don't know, nobody was doing this before I got here. So, yeah, you could argue that he is even worse, but I don't even take him seriously. I don't feel like anyone takes that channel seriously. I just started reading the chat. I wasn't reading it earlier, but I got eyes on the chat right now. Oh, we got some super chats. Shout out to Gematria Sense. They said, "Can we raise some funds in this stream?" Well, you help raise some funds in this stream. Thank you. Gematria Sense says he does this on Patreon every day, only 11 a month. Indeed. And if you want to step up to the $20 tier, you got a chance to win money every week. And some people are really exploiting that tier because they're making a good amount of money. They need some competition. Valentino said Mahomes also improved to 26-6 versus the NFC, including playoffs in San Francisco. Yeah, old Jesus hominum Salvatore, no doubt about it. Gematria sense you were raising the money in this stream. We are not on the Hebrew calendar. Exactly. Yeah, and this was probably made the point earlier about we're on the Catholic Church's calendar, named after the Pope, where Pope equals 52. Everyone always saying those small caps run the world. It's like, I don't think so. We're on the Catholic Church's calendar. We're speaking their language. Everything's synced up with the Pope every day. Here, I see in this comment right here. I realized something tonight that I cannot believe I didn't realize until tonight. Like I was watching Obama, rap Eminem lyrics in Detroit tonight, and just going, "Oh my God, man! Look, you guys, they got Obama out there in Motown 14 days before the election, right? Obama 14, like slave, like the 14th Amendment. Slaves 59, like Motown came out in 59. Obama's Secret Service name is Renegade." I'm going to show you something though here in a second. That I can't believe I never realized this before. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Hold on. I'm going to put this up on the screen. I'm going to finish the super chats, and I'm going to come back to what I put up on the screen, but I'll let it marinate in here for a second. Right here. I saw this tonight. I thought, how did I not realize this before? But don't follow the sheep said. Eminem just endorsed Kamala. Yeah, I know. And he's always been a Democrat. I made this point in the past. Like, he's always been rapping against Bush, which is just fine. I mean, Bush was all these politicians are a piece of trash. But Eminem's become like, again, he was making rap songs about put on your slave muzzle during the time of the cooties virus. He did he put out the music video by the Numbers paying tribute to the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. Remember, that was on the day leaving 91 days up in the air, and the music video is called Darkness, and it came out 91 days after his birthday. And at the end of the music video has that place for how you can turn in your guns. Eminem's a part of all the major political agendas right now that are mostly connected with the left. But understand, the left and right are two wings of the same bird. One group gets to play good cop while the other one's bad cop for like decades at a time, and then they flip flop. But I did see it, and I told everybody in 2008 how Obama was just a total fraud, and it killed me that nobody could see through it. Just how fake he was, and how he just like everyone thinks he's so great at speaking, but he just talks forever and he doesn't say shit. I mean, his whole speech tonight was that. He's like, some people see Trump as a tough guy because he's a UFC fights, but that doesn't make you tough. It's like, dude, there's so many more things that you could here. Anyway, I'm gonna show you a couple things that I realized tonight that I've been overlooking all this time about Obama and just how corrupt and sick the whole political system is, Democrats and Republicans. Thanks for just dropping the 10 cents. Now we're raising some money. Now we're up to $30 before YouTube's 30%, which means we raised $21 in the 2-hour stream, which is almost minimum wage from a decade ago. So we're getting somewhere. But look at this. You guys, I all of a sudden tonight when I was listening to Obama speak, I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever looked up when Obama's campaign to become president ever officially began. And then I looked it up and I just died right away because I saw the date. I said, you got to be kidding me. If you guys don't know this, the federal government recognized Black History Month for the first time February 10th, 1976. Obama announced he was running for president on the 31st anniversary of that day. And again, Obama, it's like today they got him out campaigning in Motown 14 days before the election. But you see how when you run it in reverse, Obama's 31 and 31's the 11th prime and Black's 11. And he was the first Black president 10 years after Tupac's song Changes. It's got the lyrics that we still ain't seen a Black president. Then we get Barack Hussein Obama. And as somebody who grew up in a Black neighborhood, I didn't know a single Black person who had a name anywhere near Barack Hussein Obama, a name that's reminded us of Osama and Saddam Hussein, which is what all the fear-mongering was for the decade leading up to him. But again, February 10th is like 10/2, and slavery is 102. And again, the American Civil War began on April 12th, 1861, and that was in the time of Lincoln and Obama representing Illinois, the land of Lincoln. And where did Obama announce that he was running from? At the old state capitol building where Abraham Lincoln had delivered his House Divided speech. Okay, so think about this, you guys. Obama became president in 2008. Or excuse me, he became president-elect in 2008, right? And the name Barack means lightning. And in the Bible, Satan comes to earth in Luke 10:18 in a bolt of lightning. And if you didn't know this, just for the record, lightning has the gematria of 44, like Obama was number 44, but also 55. Satan's 55. In Jewish gematria, Derek renamed it Latin gematria on his calculator. Satan is 232. In 2008, the country turned 232 years old. So Obama became president-elect while the country was 232 years old. And even when he took office, the country was still 232 years old. It would have turned 233, July 4th, 2009. But remember, Obama is who told the joke about Trump becoming number 45 on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday with Trump in attendance at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. April 30th, 2011, Obama's president. Trump's there. The whole birther thing's going on. And Obama says that Trump will become number 45 on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday. And Trump runs on MAGA, M-A-G-A, the highest degree of the Church of Satan. And the first tenet of Satanism is to worship yourself, which is all Donald Trump does. So again, you look at all this ritual sacrifice connected to all these people. Oh, God. Last year for Obama's birthday, it was his former cook, and then it was the Lion King actor. At that same White House Correspondents' Dinner, he jokes that Trump will become number 45, and then he jokes that he's Simba from the Lion King. If you've never watched the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, go back and watch it. April 30th, 2011. Simba equals 44. He has the Disney cartoon Simba, and he says he actually was born in Africa, and the proof is the Lion King film. And anyway, it's nothing but jokes. But I see we got a DK Stonewood sighting, so we'll get DK on here, and then he'll close us out like it is a baseball game. Here comes the closer, the hardest thrower in the game. What's up, DK?
Who am I, Mariano Rivera or what?
Mariano Rivera would be a good one. You're in California, though. Trevor Hoffman used to be at the top of his game, too, down there. So whoever you want to be.
That's a fake Jew name. We'll skip that one.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to ask you, do you know what the phrase umbrella man means?
I bet you got something on it. I don't know. I know where the umbrella fits in with the Jesuits, but what do you got for it?
It's from the JFK assassination.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm familiar.
So you remember what that was all about, basically? Like, he was kind of like the trigger man or like telling him like, okay, go for it now or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard these things.
As he was like kind of making his umbrella go up and down. I would say for you, your umbrella man is black guys with dreadlocks, if that makes sense to you.
Okay.
The guy was on the other day. I can't remember when it was. I was listening to the show after the fact, and he was like just filibustering on and on about just some stuff. And then he said he looked about 55, 60. Then he said he was 47 years old. And I was just like, I think these guys are like you pick up on all the numbers and everything right away when it's like a news story. But when like trolls call, they use them. And I'm like, did Zach not just get that? Like, he's saying he's 47. He looks like he's about 60 when black people usually look like 10 years younger than their age. And I'm like, what is 47? I'm like, I wish I had that. I wish I could post it right now. I wish you could post pictures in the chat. Anyway, yeah. And then tonight it was a little bit, maybe a few illegitimate calls, and most of them were okay, but there was a couple there that were pretty bad that I thought were definitely trolls. But I just wanted to make a comment because I forgot to say this a while back. How you were just saying, yeah, everybody should be waking up, but it seems like humanity is just under a spell, so we just can't wake them up. And I wanted to allude to, a caller that sounds kind of goofy when he called. I know he's called you a few times, but it's the guy that says parasites are demons. That guy's called you a few times, right?
Yeah, he's called a few times.
Yeah, so that guy, he's actually right. The thing is, he just doesn't know what he's talking about or doesn't know how to explain it, but he's actually right. So the demons themselves are not the parasites themselves are not demons. They're just on the frequency of that demonic realm. So they're literally like a bunch of little antennas in your body. And these parasites, I don't know them all right now by name, by heart, but there's certain ones that coagulate in the brain. There's certain ones that coagulate in the spine. Most people are just thinking about they're in the gut, but, which is where most of them are. But there's also ones that, coagulate in different areas of the body. And plus the gut is the number one brain. The brain up in the head is just the one that's like getting all the stuff from all the inputs from all your senses, your eyes, ears, the olfactory, the taste and all that. That's mostly what your brain is for. And then only the small part of it is like for reasoning, but your whole intuition and process where you're supposed to, like how they say you got to process everything through the heart in the end, that's really like through the gut, so if you got a bunch of little antenna in your body that are like on the demonic realm that are basically just being activated, This is why people can't, they just can't put things together, even when you give it to them right in their face. And you could give them something a little bit more complicated that would be like a math problem or something else, and they'd be able to, something that they wouldn't know, and you can explain it to them and they'll get it right away. But when it's some of this type of like, occult research or, numerology or gematria, or even things that are way simpler than that, they're like blocked off, you notice, and then their reaction to it is just like totally like out of sorts. It makes no sense why they would get angry and like frustrated, and it's just like it just makes no sense. There's so many worse things you would hear in a day. Why would you get so frustrated and so bent out of shape about somebody telling you that, especially when it's like your family or friends or something? This is why we're all experiencing this reaction, because these people, the spell is actually, the demonic realm is controlling their biology. And it just, most people don't know that. They're not eating, obviously, enough cilantro and parsley and, all these other herbs that were, the original healing herbs. Now they should be like basically your food, because everything's so poisoned. So this is why we can't wake any of these people up. It literally requires like a trigger to go off in them first, and then then they're like open to it. But until that, it's just like, you might as well, like, like when you show up to the dealer, you buy a new car and they got the sheet over it, that's how they are. You can't even see what's under there. They're stuck until something happens. Either they have to get like a kind of like an otherworldly trigger, or they have to have some type of change in their like biology. And that's why I've always said for like since 2009, since I decided to change my diet, I'm like, we're never going to have a revolution till we have a food revolution, because people are they're just really cowardly and stupid due to what they eat. Intuition and courage both come from the gut. You ain't got either one of those two. You're kind of, you're really, it's like trying to play a sport when you got like one arm lopped off at the elbow and you got like one leg. I mean, you're not going to be playing anything too well. You're a Paralympian maybe, but this is how people are going through this world, or they say deaf, dumb, and blind, going through this experience. This is why we can't wake anybody up. So that guy was, he was right. He just didn't know all the background information on it. And this is something I've been saying for like 10, 12 years. And it seems like it's like that meme is like resurfacing now, about the demons being parasites. And it's probably a bunch of shills pushing it now. And they're going to just kind of twist it in a way to make us sound stupid.
Okay, the thing you started with, what didn't you like about the caller the other night? Just what he was pointing out about Bible verses.
Oh no, he said some stuff that was true. It just was like, he's not really like saying anything. And then it was more like filibustering, just like kind of just wasting time talking about stuff that we already know. And then, he gave you like a little clue, but this isn't.
Well, DK, when I met you in LA, you said you were 47
years old.
Well, that's what he said. So you're accusing him of saying he's 47. So now
he might be, but the dude looks like he's like 60. And black guys usually look like 10 years younger than their age. So I was like, when I was looking at him, this dude's 47. That's why it just shocked me,
Okay. What did people say tonight that you had the problem with?
What's that?
What didn't you like that people said tonight?
Oh, I just thought you had a few like maybe a few illegitimate calls, like they're just trolling and wasting time, kind of like filibustering.
Okay. Some people think that when you call in too. So
yeah.
You can't please everyone.
Yeah. I would like to know the last names of those people that think that about me.
Yeah.
And like, I know you know this, but like all these channels that are getting all these subscriptions and donations and all that, none of that shit is legitimate, and then all your, all these negative comments that you get, that's frustrating and all that, but that's just, it's either bots or this network that's all around you. And that's why I told you a long time ago, I can't really give you much, maybe one thing here, maybe one gem, a month. It's something probably pretty insignificant, but I wish I could give you my intuition, like how you were saying you thought that guy Chris Emery told you the Matrix guy was a Fed, and I was like, well, how would he know unless he's one as well? You know what I'm saying? Which he obviously is too, and then you're like, I didn't want to believe it. I don't know whether that was because he was like financially supporting or whatever. He was actually like coming out there, but Yeah, I get it. That's got to be a tough one to swallow, where like you realize, wait a minute, I thought there was this whole community around me, and then I realized there is no community. They kind of have created like this false community around me, and within that there's a few legitimate people, but it's like it's so flooded with like, you know, illegitimate followers that, you know, it makes it so like everything is not transpiring organically, and that's why it seems like, you know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating even listening, so I can imagine from your end how frustrating it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just keep pushing anyway, but
yeah, well, that's all we're gonna do. And oh man, I was sorry to hear that sweet lady's wearing some type of microwave device to monitor the baby. I was like, no, she should be outside grounding and sleeping with a copper wire tied around her big toe and out the window and in a stake in the ground. Instead, she got some microwave device. I'm like, oh my God, how did they convince her of that?
yeah, I know. I do worry about all this technology and modern stuff they do. So our ancestors didn't do it.
No, not at all. And that's why they could live, you know, pretty healthy while they were still like drinking and smoking and doing all this shit and still live to like 95, no problem, no dementia, no Alzheimer's. Now all this stuff, people don't realize like these microwaves and, you know, these, like I was saying, you know, the prince of the power of the air. It's not like actual like a bird flying through the air or some type of vehicle. It's the air waves, you know, they're controlling the airwaves. So these frequencies, they demyelinate the like the straw, the tubes that your nerves travel through, you know, they're like demyelinating that. So like you're getting a lot of crosstalk now. It's like trying to find a station with the old radio where you got like the dial, and then it's like in between two stations and you're like turning the radio facing the antenna one way or another. It's like going back and forth between one signal and another. That's like what's happening. And you know, people just don't realize that you can torture these human vehicles that we have pretty badly, and they still function not well, but they still function. So people think everything's all right. They don't realize they're not. Like, you know, they're probably using 75 points of their available IQ, and they could be using, you know, 50 more. It just they're so subdued with you know, for one, the parasites, but then all these, you know, all these frequencies which are actually activating those parasites and sending them signals. So it's just, yeah, we're literally, you know, we're swimming in an ocean of this stuff that people just think is the air. They don't realize that is the prince of the power of the air, you know? Oh boy.
Indeed, indeed. All right, DK. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Zach, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Before I go, I'll do the quick recap for people who got here late. I'd encourage you, if you got here late, just to rewind the video. But again, you guys, it was the opening day of the 79th NBA season, and we thought this is exactly what LeBron would do tonight, pick up his 205th win with the Lakers and stay on 79 home losses for the 79th season. But in the late in the game, they announced that former LA baseball star who beat the Yankees in the World Series in '81 has died for unknown reasons. And again, I mean, just look at his name, Fernando Valenzuela, 79. He won the Cy Young, 79. Announced as the 79th season starts. Again, as LeBron stays on 79 losses with his son on the court, while you got Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. in attendance, baseball players who represent Seattle that won the NBA championship in 79. Barkley yells out at the end of the game that the Thunder are going to the finals this year. Remember, the Sonics did become the Thunder, so that's interesting that he said that. And again, we always talk about the NBA in 17, the man who's dead, played 17 major league seasons. LeBron came over from Ohio, the 17th state, to the Lakers on the first day of the 7th month. I told you that day he'd win the Lakers their 17th championship in his 17th season. As he went on to do the year, Kobe died by the numbers. Again, he's dead at 63, Fernando Valenzuela. Major League Baseball, 63. Big number with the league. He won the World Series in 81, 43 years ago. RIP 43. New York Yankees, 191, the 43rd prime. His birthday is November 1st. Theoretically, if the Dodgers repeat history and beat the Yankees 4-2 in the World Series, like his Dodger team did to the Yankees in 81, if it happened, The Dodgers had become 33-39 versus the Yankees on Fernando's birthday, which is November 1st. You see how New York's 111, 39, 33. The World Series he was in 81 was the 78th World Series. 78's the 12th triangular number. This is going to be the 12th time the Dodgers and Yankees face each other in the World Series. It's kind of like it is the Celtics and Lakers of the MLB. No other teams have met more in the World Series, just like Celtics and Lakers have met the most in the NBA Finals. So that is something to think about. And if you look at the gematria of New York Yankees, just for the record, if you look at this, like we hit some nice props off Aaron Judge. In the game where he was going to have his 187th at bat, we had him for a home run. He hit one. In the game where he was going to have his 191st at bat, we had him for a home run in the postseason at bats. He hit home runs in both those games. But New York Yankees has the 191-187 connection. Look at Society of Jesus. 191-187. Also, that's 79. Again, that's the Jesuits. That's who gave us the language and the calendar and runs these leagues. Ritualistically, 191's the 43rd prime. He's dead 43 years after the last time these teams meet. Society of Jesus. Jesus Christ is also 43. They say the crucifixion date for Jesus is April 3rd. The 93rd day of the year. For all you Yankees hopefuls, that's what you're hoping for, that the Yankees become 9-3 versus the Dodgers. In a way, I almost want to see that happen just because my dad, I mean, his true love in life is the Yankees. And that's because he was raised in front of the TV in a broken household where the Yankees were on and it was the thing that gave him happiness. So he can't get enough of his Yankees. But hey, Mark's comment about the presidential shootings and the Yankees beating the Dodgers. Here's something that's interesting about that. You see how Los Angeles equals 109? You see how Yankees equals 109? You see how shooting equals 109? The Dodgers have 105 wins right now. You got to win 4 games to win the World Series. The Yankees have 101 right now, which again is interesting because again, the 105th NFL season's going on. The Dodgers, Jackie Robinson would be 105 years old. They won their 105th game to advance 10-5. And again, they do like to cross over with sports. The last team to three-peat in baseball was the Yankees over the Mets 24 years ago when Mahomes' father was on that Mets team. Mahomes is trying to three-peat in the NFL in the 105th season. He's born on the day, leaving 105 days left in the year. If the Yankees won the World Series, they'd get their 105th win. And again, in history, the New York Yanks became the Dallas Texans, which became the Kansas City Chiefs in football. And again, that's why they had Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift at those Yankees games in the ALCS. So, and again, last year, while the media was making fun of people saying there was a conspiracy theory with the NFL being rigged to Taylor Swift, never once did they cover the gematria angle and how all year we were showing how it literally was rigged with her for the 104th season. And by the way, just this past Sunday when the Chiefs beat the Niners again, Brock Purdy fell to 10-4 at home in the 104th game of this season, 104 weeks after the last time the Niners and Chiefs played in San Francisco. And the Super Bowl that the Chiefs just won, Super Bowl 58, this game Sunday was 58 days before the Pope's birthday. Super Bowl last year was on the Vatican's birthday. Chiefs won with 25 on the 95th birthday of the Vatican. Mahomes is now 95-25 in the NFL. And Vatican equals 25 like Pope. Pope Francis is 58. Again, this game this past Sunday was 58 days before his birthday. And again, QB win-loss record. Go to Football DB. It's got all the stats for quarterbacks as starters, not including games they backed up. Mahomes. Where'd you go, Mahomes? He's 95-25. It's kind of interesting he did that in his 120th game as well because this is the 120th baseball season, which is the 15th triangular number. Like he wears number 15, like the Yankees haven't won the World Series for 15 years. So I'll continue to be studying the narrative more to make sure we lock it in. We have a history of smoke in the World Series. Somebody let me know when I got one wrong in the last decade. I don't think I have. So we'll see if we can do it again. We've done it at a very high percentage for a long time. All right, you guys, we'll leave it there for now. And congrats to the winners, starting off the NBA season with a bang after smoking another NFL Week 7. Again, we smoked every NFL week this year except for Week 3. And join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. Links in the description of every video. World-class education. It's bigger than sports, but sports is a good way to learn the knowledge because there's examples every day, history to study, numbers to practice, codes to crack, money to be made. So, again, we teach people how to turn small bills into big bills. And for all the haters out there, how many people have you taught to do things like this? Because there's a whole lot of these in my community this year. However, this is the very best one so far this year, but there's a lot of great, impressive ones. But look at this one. This one's from Week 7 right here. Again, I got all these haters in the world, and the real reason I have haters is because bookies and casinos pay people to slander me because they don't like how I've taught people to do this. Do you see that? That's a $3 wager, and the gentleman made $5,160.29. That's why the knowledge is world-class, and it's bigger than sports, but that's exactly what I've taught people to do. Make small wagers for piles of cash. And understand, you're not going to do that every day. But you can turn $5 into $100 a lot. And again, if you make your budget of gambling $5 a day, you're never going to lose your house. And if you stay consistent with this knowledge, you're going to continue to build up your pile of cash and your house money. So 3 into 5,160. And over the years, there's a lot of people who've done things just like that. And there's been a lot of great bet slips this NFL season. We've been torching the NFL this season. You guys, last night, 47th day of the season, they got both Harbaugh brothers coaching in primetime on the 47th day of the season when they met in Super Bowl 47 New Orleans. Last night, Jim, who lost Super Bowl 47, stayed on 47 regular season wins. And again, Tom Bull stayed on 47 regular season wins, losing to John Harbaugh, who won Super Bowl 47 when John equals 47 and Jim doesn't. Again, brothers 111. Those games last night were 111 days before the Super Bowl. It's that scripted. R.I.P. to Jacoby Jones. R.I.P. to all the people we've covered who've died over the years, and it's been a lot. Hold up. This Fresh Prince always has good observations. What did you say? Ken Griffey Jr. played in the Kingdome, and the Seattle Supersonics played in the Kingdome in their championship season. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. We're going to leave it there, you guys. Have a good night. Until next time.